Yeah, you're here because you think the channel's professional and I should only do breakdowns or analysis like Space Stock. If you don't like this stuff, just don't watch it. I do it because I feel like it's important that a discussion on the state of our fandom is necessary. Sometimes. Long story short, if you don't like drama or you don't like talking about change, don't watch the video. So, for those not in the know, a vlogger, I think maybe he's a YouTuber or was, he doesn't seem as interested in doing YouTube these days, created a vlog where he discusses why he hates disco-era Trek. This man, won Trekkerprise, decided that it was important to give his opinion. If I'm being honest, I feel like the criticisms I see him make about disco-era Trek are consistent with most people who have an idealized view of Legacy Trek and don't really know how bad what they watched really was. And to clarify, that's not saying that it was bad or horrible, it's just not as golden as they thought. It is on par with disco-era Trek. I mean, if we're all just being honest here. I did a snarky reply to what he was saying on Twitter. I think he insults me here, maybe. I do a response back and we continue to follow each other. I, honest to God, forgot about this entire interaction until now. To be fair, that's all Twitter is. It's attacking each other, so not much there, no reason to really get out of sorts. Time goes by, Trekkerprise does his anti-disco-era Trek article, and it gets popular. As these things generally do. If you want to be a Trek YouTuber or vlogger and you want instant gratification, go hard against disco-era Trek. It is money for days, my lads. Money for days. Now, to be clear here, I don't think that's why Trekkerprise did it. I'm just saying that's the way to go. Anyway, while it's getting popular, in the article, Trekkerprise refers to Michael Burnham as colored. He has since changed the term to black, and by the way, offhand, writing is a lot more difficult than people give credit for. To write things and not be repetitive is a constant and agonizing thing you have to do. If you notice, I'll call Michael person of color, hot person of color, black, she, Michael, and on and on. So him wanting to spruce it up with something different is natural. However, using this word is, in my opinion, bad taste. And I'm willing to say that it probably was an accident on Trekkerprise's side. Also, because he used the term and everyone's reaction to it does show how effective actual racists are and can be, but more on that a bit later. While I can't pinpoint exactly when the controversy happened, it does appear to have been amped up right about here. With Batleth Babe throwing her hat into the ring, we appear to be off to the races with Trekkerprise. This becomes a larger discussion about how there is little to no representation in the Trek fandom. By the way, I wholly disagree with this, and if you want to have a conversation on it, I'm open to the idea I may be wrong. But anyway, we now have more infighting and movement away from each other. To focus on it for a second, it's interesting to me that this occurs, or at least was amped up with Batleth Babe. This is honestly an MO of hers, whether she knows it or not. I can attest to this personally, as she's responded to something I've done, and then I get hit with 100 people responding and attacking me. The irony in it is that she was the one that was attacked by William Shatner and got a ton of hate to her, and now she does what William Shatner did to her. Again, I'm not sure that she knows she's doing this, but it is the effect. Oh, and by the way, don't go after Batleth Babe. I think she's a net positive to the Trek fandom, and I don't mind her stuff personally. I actually like her. I just think that all of us contribute in both negative and positive ways to the fandom, and sometimes we don't even know it. This is a time that I think she negatively impacts the fandom, but anyway, back on topic. Trekkerprise apologizes, and of course, for many, it's not enough, because with the left, and even the right, it never is. And because of this, we have people fighting back and forth about representation and those becoming divided on the topic. It's the Trek fandom, and indeed Star Trek, loses as a whole. People have said that maybe Trekkerprise is from a different country and English is his second language. It appears that he lives in Scotland, so...
Somebody else, I tell her that.
But it's there.
You know, I can fully believe that now. Good call. It's also worth noting that calling someone colored being a slur is a societal thing, as there are cultures in Africa that call each other this term, and it's not divisive. I say this because, while I do make fun of Scotland, it is possible that they don't have the same baggage in the way the United States does. It's worth thinking about. At the end of the day, here's the problem. This never needed to be amped up. Attacking Trekkerprise doesn't really accomplish anything. It really only proves that the left loves to eat its own. Something that even far left YouTuber communists like Vosh admit. On Twitter, at least, it's all about looking like you care, not actually caring. And as an aside, once more, I think Batleth Babe cares. I don't think a lot of her Twitter followers do, though, but that's just me. This kind of thing also moves people who are on the fence wanting to look at it from a nuanced view towards the critics and the more toxic version of the fandom menace. They become viable options. This, unfortunately, will open them up to more racist elements. And if I can just be honest with you guys, the Left Trek Twitterverse is basically like the real-world church of Twitter. Just like the church, the best way to get someone not to be a part of that world is to let them look objectively at how those people act. As an example of that, Trekled tried to reach out to give more representation on his channel due to all of this, and what happens? Someone apparently very well liked in that community starts to attack him, and wait for it, goes after some of the thumbnails that he's done, among other things. Apparently he only has white people on his panel, even though it's open to anyone joining, and that's a bad thing because he's not getting or forcing people onto his panel. He's told that he has to put people of color and LGBT on his panel. So Sad and Yellow requires him to put them on his panel. You know, I find her need to remove people's ability to choose somewhat problematic. To end off the criticisms of everything that's happened, I want to point something out. Batleth Babe did put up that Trekkerprise apologized. However, you need but just look at the ratio of people who liked her calling him out versus her saying he apologized, not to even mention the comments, to see why she probably should have never called him out to begin with. They are quite distinct in how many people saw them. If you've gotten this far, then you know it's time for me to talk about what I would do to fix all of this and where I stand. I agree that Trekkerprise's wording was at best ignorant and ill-conceived, and at worst, he was racist. Most likely, he was just trying to use different verbiage and words and didn't understand how hurtful that he was being. Now, he doesn't really owe anyone an apology, but changing the verbiage and saying he was wrong is something that I think should be done. Beyond that, I do believe that representation is a good thing, that it's okay and something we should strive for to have all voices heard, not at the expense of others, but just on par. I think that's something that most channels should do, and people are more than welcome to come on and talk if they think I don't have enough representation or I'm not addressing something. However, the dirty secret of racists is that they are, unfortunately, smart, at least in how they promote things. The way everyone reacted to this, from Trekkerprise's writing it to Batleth Babe's response, and yes, to even Treklad's "let's include everyone now that I've recognized this is a problem," to Ketwalski's response to trying to remove people so there can be representation, all of it honestly just empowers racism. Those who want to do ill will utilize outrage culture to convert people. Maybe not a lot, maybe just a few people at a time or one person at a time. But at the end of the day, they don't have to win all the battles to win the war. The reason why I'm responding to this is because I want people to think about how they've reacted to all of this and the verbiage they used that caused it and where it's left us. This even includes me. This video signal boosts this entire affair. I'm taking swipes at Batleth Babe, an undeniable positive force for progressive Trek, and I even called out my friends, which I didn't tell them about. I'm not sure how they're going to feel about this. So I have to ask myself, after I've done this, did I do something good or did I do something negative? I'll try to consider the results, which I hope everyone I've mentioned today will. These are just my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below.